This conference will now be recorded.
Om Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Dhyajet Sarvavighnopaşantaye Shruti Smriti Purananamalayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram. Namaste. Now we will see the meanings of Shri Vishnu Sahasranama based on Shri Shaankara Bhaashya for verse 92. First we will see the verse. Dhanurdharo dhanurvedo dando damayitā damaḥ aparājitaḥ sarvasahaḥ niyantā niyamo yamaḥ. The namas herein are dhanurdharaḥ, dhanurvedaḥ, daṇḍaḥ, damayitā, damaḥ, aparājitaḥ, sarvasahaḥ, niyantā, aniyamaḥ, ayamaḥ. So there are 10 namas herein. We will see the meanings of each of these one by one. The first one is dhanurdharaḥ. Shriman Ramo mahadhanurdharayāmaseti dhanurdharaḥ. The noble Rama, the one who wielded a great bow. So dhanurdhara has two components. So dhanush shabda is there, and also the dhara. Dhara means the one who holds or the one who wields. Wields what? Dhanu. Dhanu is bow. So Bhagavan in his Ramavatara is celebrated by Acharya as the great dhanurdhara in his interpretation. So wielding the Kodanda, Rama, and the Rama incarnation of Bhagavan Vishnu is glorified as dhanurdharaḥ for the protection of dharma. The next nama is dhanurvedaḥ. Sayeva dasharathihi dhanurvedam vettiti dhanurvedaḥ. The self-same son of Dasharatha who was adept in the science of warfare. So previously the nama was dhanurdharaḥ, who wielded a bow. Here it is clarified that he was not just a warrior, he was also an adept in the science of warfare. Dhanurveda. Dhanurveda, Veda is a body of knowledge, and on Dhanuhu, Dhanuhu indicates warfare. So Rama was not only a warrior, he was a master strategist who also knew the art and science of warfare. Interestingly, Dhanurveda is one among the 18 principal systems of knowledge in Sanatana Dharma, and we see in the tradition that a text on Dhanurveda was written by sage Vishwamitra, under whose tutelage Rama was, and so he imbibed the entire art of warfare from sage Vishwamitra, and hence Rama or Bhagavan Vishnu in his Ramavatara is seen as an embodiment of the science of warfare. Hence he is glorified by the nama Dhanurvedaḥ. The next nama is daṇḍaḥ. Damanam damayatam dhandaḥ. The one who is the act of subduing in those who subdue. So the previous two namas spoke about dhanurdhara and dhanurveda. So the great power, the might, the science and art of warfare, etc. Why is warfare existing, or why does such a science of warfare exist? The science of warfare and the art of and the necessity of fighting exists so that enemies can be subdued. In the context of the Vishnu Sahasranama, we repeatedly see that the Bhagavan punishes, subdues, kills the demons. And why? Because they stray away from the path of dharma. So, Bhagavan here in this context, we see he is not only the one who knew the art of warfare, the science of warfare, who not only was a great warrior, dhanurdhara, but the very purpose of warfare, that is subduing the people who are erring from the path of dharma. So that very goal of warfare, of subduing of the enemies, so that is also Bhagavan. Danda is also Bhagavan. To this, Acharya quotes from the Bhagavad Gita, Dando damayatam asmi. I am the intent of subduing in those who subdue others, especially those kings and rulers who subdue negative forces which harm the harmony of the society. The next nama is damayitā. Vaivasvata narendradi rupena prajaha damayati iti damayitā. The one who subdues, governs the subjects in the form of Vaivasvata, Indra, etc. So, though it has been already indicated that the Bhagavan is the damayitā by dhanurdharaḥ, dhanurvedaḥ, etc., here the other manifestations of the Bhagavan as damayitā, or the subduer, or the one who pacifies erring negative tendencies in the society and establishes order. So the other manifestations are also Bhagavan only. So among the human beings, he is Narendra. Narendra means the king. So it is the king who subdues negative elements, anti-social elements, and establishes order. So Bhagavan Narayana is to be seen as the Narendra, or the king who governs and subdues. And Vaivasvata. Vaivasvata refers to the Manu, who was the very primordial or the very first king on the earth, according to ancient Hindu Sanatana tradition. So, the entire tradition of the kings is traced back to this Vaivasvata Manu, and all later kings, they come in the lineage of Vaivasvata Manu only. So, such people who rule over, who govern, and also when necessity arises, those who subdue those negative forces, so they are all to be seen as the manifestations of Bhagavan Narayana himself. The next nama is damaḥ. Damaḥ damyeshu dandakaryam phalam tacca sa eveti damaḥ. He is control, the outcome of subduing. So this is a very interesting nama. We previously saw, or even there is a normal notion that the God is only the punisher. So he is termed as Almighty in various other traditions. Even in the various Vedic texts also, we see Bhishasmad Vatah Pavate. So out of the fear of the Almighty, the wind blows, etc. Though that notion exists in Sanatana Dharma and similar to that of the idea in other traditions, but the uniqueness or the speciality here is the Bhagavan is not only the subduer, but the value of getting subdued or getting controlled. So that control which is instilled by the process of subduing, by the process of governing, so that control, damaḥ, is also Bhagavan. So damyeshu damaḥ. So those who are being subdued, the virtue of control, the virtue of restraint which is instilled in them, that is also Bhagavan. So it is a very unique thought in our Indian culture, in Sanatana Dharma, in the Vedic Dharma, that the Bhagavan exists everywhere. He is not only to be worshipped as the one who subdues, controls, instills fear, but he is also the virtue, that is control or restraint, which is instilled among the subjects or people through the act of damana. So this also establishes the fact that damana is done, or subduing is done, not to merely inflict oppression on people or people who are relatively possessed of lesser power, but damana is for dama. Dama is control, restraint. So once this goal of control or restraint is achieved, even those who do damana, those who subdue or those who try to control people, should stop at that point. So that wonderful virtue of dama is again the manifestation, or is an aspect, or is a glorious virtue, which is Bhagavan Narayana himself. So that is imparted through this nama damaḥ. The next nama is aparājitaḥ. Shatrubhihi na parājitaḥ iti aparājitaḥ. The one who is not defeated by the enemies. So aparājita, parājita means defeated. Aparājita, the one who is not defeated. So previously the virtue of control was mentioned as Bhagavan himself. This doesn't mean that it points to weakness or meekness. It is a control which comes to a person who is undefeated. So control is essential even when a person is unconquered, unchallenged, and is without any enemy. So these two namas, damaḥ and aparājitaḥ, spoken in succession, it indicates this idea that those who are possessed or in a position of damana, who are undefeated or unchallenged, so they should also imbibe the virtue of damaḥ. So those two wonderful qualities we see in successive namas. The next nama is sarvasahaḥ. There are a couple of interpretations here. Sarva karmasu samarthaḥ iti, the one who is capable or efficient in all work. So sarva saha are the two components. Sahaha, samarthaḥ, the one who is capable. Capable in what? Sarva karyeshu, in all actions. Srishti, sthiti, laya. So in this way, Bhagavan is all capable. Kushala is extremely skilled. So he is the one who imparted the value of karmasu kaushalam. So the one who is capable in all actions, he is seen as an embodiment of skill or capability, dakshata. So hence that is celebrated through the first interpretation. The second interpretation is sarvan shatrun sahata iti va sarvasahaḥ, the one who withstands, overcomes all enemies. So sahate abhibhavati, that's also a meaning we see in Sanskrit literature, means the one who defeats and also who withstands any onslaught, any enemies. So in the previous nama we saw aparājitaḥ, he faced all types of enemies, and so he is capable of subduing, defeating, remain unconquered by whatever challenge is thrown to him. And it also indicates Bhagavan fights only for dharma, and so dharma is unconquered, and dharma can withstand any onslaught, any enemy. So that is brought about through the second interpretation, sarvasahaḥ. The eighth nama is niyantā. Sarvan sveshu sveshu krityeshu vyavasthapayati iti niyantā, the one who directs, regulates everyone in their respective works. So niyantā, niyamana, vyavasthapana. So the one who creates an order and then channelizes each of those people in their own respective orders or their own responsibilities. Krishna himself says, Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashah. So all the systems or strata of the society is established so that people, according to their capability, they can progress towards achieving the purusharthas, dharma, artha, kama, and ultimately moksha. So all his powers, all his might, all his virtues are channelized of the Bhagavan. All these are channelized, all these virtues are channelized towards establishing or regulating, channelizing all the people, all the jivatmans in a systematic way of life that leads to the realization of worthy human goals like dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So such a regulator is niyantā, and that is Bhagavan Narayana. The ninth nama is aniyamaḥ. Na niyamo niyatihi. Tasya vidyate iti aniyamaḥ sarva niyamtur niyantramtara bhavat. The one who does not have any regulations, the one who is the regulator of all, does not require any further regulators. So, a niyama. Niyama is niyati or regulation. So, na niyamaḥ. So, the one who does not require any regulation. Because if one keeps on looking for even a regulator for the Bhagavan, who is the regulator of all, then it will never end. So it will go on continuing without end. So who is the regulator of that regulator? And then further, who is his regulator? In this way, there will be no end. And also we see that in the Vedas and Puranas, Bhagavan has been glorified as Sarvajna, Sarvavyapi, and Sarvashakta. And so he is the ultimate authority, and he does not require any further regulators. And we see that name parthasti kartavyam trishulokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam varta evacha karmani. The Bhagavan is self-regulated. He knows that though he does not have any goals or objectives for his own self to be achieved, still he acts as a role model. So Bhagavan is very well aware that he is the role model for the entire creation, and so role models are self-regulated, and hence being the epitome of role models, Bhagavan is self-regulated and he does not require anyone else above him to be regulated. So hence he is aniyamaḥ. This nama is also interpreted as niyamaḥ, which will come later at the end of the interpretation of next nama. The 10th nama is ayamaḥ. So we will see the interpretations to this nama. Nasya vidyate yamo mrityuriti ayamaḥ. The one who does not have yama, death. So yama is known as the god of death, personification of death. Na asya vidyate. So the one who does not have death, the eternal, satyam jnanam anantam brahma. So that Brahman who is without any limitations of time, who exists forever, anadi ananta swarupa, does not have any death. So the eternal glory of Bhagavan, the eternal existence of Bhagavan is brought out by this nama ayamaḥ. So there is a second interpretation for this nama and also previous nama presented together here by Acharya. So it is in this way: athava yamaniyamau yogangau tad gamyatvat sa eva niyamaḥ yamaḥ, or yama and niyama are the limbs of yoga, the one who is attained by yama and niyama. So the previous two namas are presented as aniyamaḥ and ayamaḥ. That is the primary interpretation that was given. Acharya also suggests grammatically the words can be split as niyamaḥ and yamaḥ also. So what is yama and niyama in the context of yoga? In the context of Ashtanga yoga, the first two limbs of yoga is yama and niyama. In Patanjali Yoga Sutras, we see the sutra yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhayaha, ashtau angani. So 8 limbs of yoga are yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana and samadhi. So among these, the first two are yama and niyama. Yama refers to restraints, restraining oneself from negative activities. Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, and Aparigraha are yamas, and then niyamas are positive virtues that are to be proactively cultivated. Shaucha, Santosha, Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhana, all these are niyamas. So, by these 10 virtues which are indicated by yama and niyama, a person who cultivates these qualities in himself progressively, he realizes Bhagavan. So, Lord Narayana is the one who is to be realized by cultivating these yamas and niyamas in oneself. So, that can also be, that is also presented as another interpretation to these two namas. Thus, with these 10 namas in verse 92, we have thus far seen 866 namas. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu.